Hi, Jay. My phone filters through all the, like, this is like such an old picture of Rory, like the random, like most random photos. I don't know. I'm reading the listserv text and this things. Okay. Trying to. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up. Why is it
Oh, do you want the agenda, Nikki?
staying? Oh, yeah, that's what I was trying to pull up.
Oh, you got them?
Okay.
Forgot to take them out.
How are you, Beth?
Okay.
It's a week.
It's a week and it's Tuesday.
There's a lot in this week.
Yeah.
Here you go. I leave one for Heather. And you. Oh, and one for me. Okay. Okay, let's bring this meeting to order at 6:05 according to my computer. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? Nope. Okay. Did the first two things. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of November 5th.
So moved?
Okay.
Second?
Moved by Hannah, seconded by Beth. Okay, are there any comments from the three of us? No. Okay. I'll make a motion to, oh no, we already made a motion. So we'll just vote because nobody's online. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. 3-0 for the ayes. Okay, minutes are approved. Public participation and announcements. We have a few public.
I always get excited coming in about
I know, I thought, oh, we
Meeting,
have
and
people
I'm
at the
like-
meeting. I know,
Basketball.
yeah. There's a wonderful spaghetti dinner planned for Saturday, and then people should all come, and if they need tickets, see their closest 8th grader.
Or
Oh,
call the
and-
main office, because I'm sure they can help you.
Yes.
If you don't know a closest 8th grader, I'm sure the front
Yes.
office could help you.
And check out the beautiful baskets on your.
Yeah.
Yes, and the baskets for raffle.
Yep.
And there's a variety show put on by our talented drama club kids. and
Friday night.
Friday night. Lots going on. Any other announcements?
Concert next week.
And
Right,
concert
yes.
Thursday,
Concert
right?
next
Concert on Thursday? Next
Holiday
Thursday.
market next Saturday.
Holiday market
Is
next
Thursday
Saturday.
just 5/8 concert?
Yes.
Okay.
We will have a younger K3 in January. Mike and Jamie are just determining a date, and we'll put it out soon.
Good.
Thank God. Yeah. Gotta make sure of that.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. We'll move on. I announced this at the SMU meeting, but we had a whole bunch of Hartland kids participate in the district's music festival. Yeah.
Emily and Wood.
Yes, we had a lot of awesome kids go, and it was great because well, Emily can tell us why it was great.
I really liked our conductor and the songs, and it was just a fun experience this year. It was at a bigger school, and like, I feel like it was easier this year than it was last year. Although that might just be because it was my second year, but it felt much more like there's more breaks, I guess. But
Oh, I heard that was a.
Yes, that was a
Yeah, that
request
was-
from my students as well. We've done better this year.
yeah, and it was just really fun.
Is it
And
amazing to play in such a large group?
it was, but the problem was if we made one mistake, everybody could see it because the choreography. So,
Oh.
They made them actually move their bodies while they sang.
Yeah.
It was great.
it was.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Everybody enjoyed it. Made friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for her too, lots of friends.
Yeah. So, just an amazing opportunity for the kiddos.
And our band
Yeah, our
people
band was
band
really
and chorus,
good.
our people are amazing.
We had a bunch of Hartland kids with solos in bands, or Hartland.
Well, and I'm saying the staff, like, cause the staff gave up
Yeah,
their
yeah, that's
Saturday.
true, yeah.
Jamie helped perform when in missing spots for the kids and everything too.
They're beautiful. Okay, administrative report.
Right. So the first part that I wanted to bring up was the budget, and I shared that budget book out that Larry is creating. It is certainly still in draft form. There are pieces that we know. There are some pieces that we're still waiting on. I think it was the December 1st letter came out today. Yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got it today, so maybe you got it yesterday, okay. So that we're still digging through, but it is here. Our thought was just that we would share it to you now and really talk more in depth. Come January, Larry will be here at our January meeting, and we'll have a little more clear info from the state to have a more in-depth conversation.
Is it, so I got a phone call today, it is not live yet on the website.
It should be
It
live.
should be.
Okay.
Was someone looking for it online?
Yeah.
Well, you can just show them where it is, right?
Yep, I can show you, hold on, here we go.
You know what, I wonder if they were on the town website.
Oh, instead of the school?
Could be.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So on our, the image to the right is our school website, and where it says FY26 Budget Book, that will take you right there. For you all, it's also linked here on this slide, but on the website, that's where you'll find it.
Test it.
You wanna test it?
I'll test it
Okay.
just to be sure. And before we jump to
Yep.
beyond budget, I'll just put a plea out to any public that are out there listening to this that please come to our meetings. Now's the time to
Yeah.
learn about the budget, participate in the budgeting process, and we'd love to hear you.
And we have 2 members of the Budget Advisory Committee, which is really exciting, and so we have that meeting Monday of next week, where
Great.
we'll begin that conversation.
Who else would
you
you-
members?
It
Did
is
you have other
Alexa
members?
Garcia and Casey Yarlott Davis.
It's live on the site.
Yeah,
It is
okay,
there.
so they were looking in the stuff.
But maybe they were looking in the town.
And looking at the town
site.
budget.
Yeah.
I can see how that's confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have a student rep on the board to present to you, who is here this evening, Emily. Emily has already met with Christine and I, and we are bringing her forward to you to get your approval. I don't know if they need to vote on it, Christine, I don't know.
I mean, officially, probably not.
No, I don't think we
but-
need to
but we
officially,
can.
but.
But you
But you
can.
could, that would be great.
Yeah, you can.
There's
Yeah.
three votes.
Right,
Yeah.
feels great, right? All right, so I don't know if you wanna do that first, cause what I have next is her report, so do you wanna do that first?
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, I'll take a motion.
I so move.
Second, okay, so the motion would be that we nominate Emily Hannix and to our student rep position. So that was the motion. Okay.
Okay, well, thank
Nominated and moved and
and
seconded. Okay, and there's Heather. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve Emily Hannix as our student rep.
Yes.
So, but we have to vote first. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving Emily to be the student rep on our board, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And abstentions? Okay,
Unanimous.
Love that.
we are now up to 4-0. We have approved Emily.
Perfect, so
Yay.
what I will do is I will turn it over to Emily, she has our
Awesome.
next few slides for her presentation.
Okay.
So I attempted reports because I literally just looked at the email today.
Fair enough.
So,
More than what we expected, Emily, actually.
November was quite a fun month. There were a few things that the school put on, like lunch with a loved one. People were excited for it to see their parents during the day. And even, like, I know a few of the kids in my class, parents couldn't make it, so we sat with people's parents. And they really enjoyed it, sitting with their friends and talking with their parents. So, overall, I think the lunch with the loved one was really good. It went really well. And the book fair, people also really enjoyed that and the books that they had. And just like going there and browsing. That's
And
all.
everyone got a free book, right?
Yes, everybody did get a free book. I forgot to mention that.
That's awesome.
I totally forgot to send out a form, so I'm just doing my grade because why not? So,
That's a good place to start.
so in my class we did an immigration like project where you could like pick your own person, you picked your own name, and we were immigrating to the US. I totally forgot where I picked. I would use that as an example, but I forgot where it was, where it came from. But I moved because in 1914 because I forgot about war. One? I don't remember. But I moved to the US, and like you had to go through like the problems that you had, what you were gonna do once you get there, and it was really fun, and a lot of people enjoyed it. And then of course our alternative energy project, which I showed here.
I was gonna say, is that
They're
them
still going.
Oh, they are still beeping.
They're still beeping.
I
I thought they were
she was gonna-
cupcakes and I got really excited.
I thought she was gonna turn us down. She told us that she was gonna take them down, but I guess not.
They're still
Definitely
beeping.
among
They're
faster.
beeping
Awesome.
more.
Faster.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, that was in like late October. It was like the 21st, but still, I was
That's pretty awesome.
we still
Yeah.
presented into November, so I would say that it would count as one.
And it was a fun project.
It was very fun.
Keep talking about it.
Yeah. It was very fun, and people definitely enjoyed this project. And yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Nice work.
Yeah,
Welcome
thank you.
aboard.
And what I'll echo, what you said is the lunch one was really, really well attended. We served just about 500 meals in total that day.
Everybody
That's
enjoyed the
awesome.
food.
It's great. Yeah, and the food was
The food,
phenomenal.
Everybody liked the food.
Yep, it was really great, and it's just fun to just take some time and enjoy a meal with each other.
Especially if like parents are divorced and they can't spend time with one, like if they're at someone's house for like one Thanksgiving. Like that's how it is for me sometimes. So like it's nice to have another Thanksgiving dinner with a parent that you might not be able to have it with.
I think I just got a little teary right there. Thanks, Emily. Okay, I know, that is a really good range, I didn't think about
Giving
that.
purpose to what
I
we
know.
do.
Yep.
Put that in your notes.
So one of the things on our agenda tonight is we are bringing to the board for your approval an additional early release on June 6th. And the purpose of this would be, it's Michael and myself as well as the Lighthouse team want to make their request. The Lighthouse team is made up of a number of teachers across the building. We would like to do a leadership day on Friday, June 6th. And staff is working on planning what that would look like. It ties into the work with Leader in Me that we've been doing for the last few years. We would celebrate student work, student growth, activities for families to do alongside their students, having older students showing off some of the things that younger students are doing. It's still very much the planning process because we're still just in November, but those are some of the ideas that we're coming up with. So what we would also then like to do is a community barbecue for everyone that's here. That would be our last community meal of the year with everyone.
So just to clarify, it's a day, it's a half day, but then families would come for the second half of the day?
No,
No.
they come for the first half of the day.
Oh, okay.
Good
First
question,
half
no,
of the
they
day,
come for
okay.
the first half of the day,
Okay,
and that would be when, like, all of the families, students are all there showing off all
Yeah.
of their materials, their work, their growth, their
Okay.
celebrations would be during that morning part of the day.
okay.
We would then have the barbecue, somewhere around noon-ish, that day would end. Students would go home, teachers are still here until their contractual 3:15. The purpose of that afternoon time would be to talk about things that worked really well during the day, things that didn't, adjustments that need to be made moving forward, as well as a lot of cleanup and organization of a big event like that does take some time to set up and break down. So that would be the purpose of this early release. Is precedence within the SU, just so that this board is aware, Weathersfield School Board did approve an additional day to do this exact thing last year.
That was pretty awesome.
Sounds great.
I think this sounds like a lovely idea. I'm wondering about, so you're, like, is this from, I guess I'm trying to think from like a working parent standpoint, like if they can get off work in the morning and then have to take care of their child in the afternoon, like what that looks like. 'Cause yeah, now it's a full day, or like, you know, can us working parents get to this super cool celebration is, you know.
And that's always the, you know, honestly, the struggles. We try to do some things in the evening and some things during the day. And we can't do everything during the evening.
When is the scheduled last day of school, knowing that it's subject to change?
14?
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
somewhere
are you
around there.
counting?
Ask the kid.
It is
Or
our
is it
second
14?
calendar.
Oh, and I should mention too, we originally were intending to want to do, there is an early release that is 12, it's the, I believe it's the Friday before Memorial Day, so, or 5/20 something or other, right, that first Friday, or the last Friday. 23rd. The struggle with that date in particular, which was the first date that we chose, is that is the date our drama students are going to New York and wanted to make sure that every student in the building was included in this celebration. So that
Oh,
was,
okay.
so I just wanna make sure that we did try to keep that within the already scheduled dates. It just-
And then there's still field day somewhere in there, right?
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, I think in some ways, it's better to have these things planned far in advance. I think the harder thing for working parents is the like, next week there's A, and it's like, well, that's, you know, so I think if we're gonna do this, maybe just advance advertising.
Yeah, I mean, I still,
Open plan.
I'm sad for myself, like, I know, it'll be very slim that if either of us could attend. So it just is like, I don't know, like, it just makes me think, like, is there a way to do an afternoon version and then have the morning off and then have it in the afternoon, or is there some way, I don't know, like, it just makes me think of, like, you will have probably 30% or less of the, like, families here, I would think. Because don't most people work? I mean, that's, what's the history of it? Like, I would ask, like, what was Weathersfield's participation?
It was very
It was
You know,
very
and
high,
like-
and I think
Yeah,
you were there
maybe I'm
too,
just
and I
jealous of-
happened to go
Never
there.
been in a situation that I could
You
just
know,
leave.
you know, it's hard.
But could you take a day just out of curiosity? Like,
I could,
if
but
you
then
knew
I
it in
have,
advance?
I would take half of the sick day, and I have
Mhm.
12 sick days a year. So it's just the balance of where do I use it and when. So it's deciding that that's priority and not making sure if I get sick. And by then it might be fine, because I have those days, you know, like, so it's like, but it's that balance, yeah.
I mean, trust me, I get, totally get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I would have to take a vacation. I don't do
Yeah.
advanced sick days.
So that's the only thing.
They're doctor subs.
Yeah.
Just call your husband in. He does a great job.
Yeah, he'd be great with the heart failure. But
No, I understand it, but I'm just saying it's.
Well,
And it's
we
just
tried
like,
it
and I always
once,
look at like
and
love,
then-
I've never
yeah,
made a
'cause
lunch
then-
with the loved ones, like, so those, it's just hitting the same people in that aspect of things, when any of the afternoons.
We'll say at least, if I think it's a little bit of a different, but the lunch with the loved ones that we do have still during the student days are really high turnout.
Mhm.
I know that's a little bit of a different situation than this, but for those in particular, the last few years have been a very high turnout.
Well, I'm not saying no, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I mean, we could table this and
No,
vote
we
on
don't
it
need to
in
table.
January, because it still gives a lot of,
Not if they want to plan.
yeah.
And if
Or we
there's
can see how
any
it goes this
work
year and make
We
changes
could come back
next
to
year.
you with, how many
the,
people were
another
there.
thing that would be really great, I mean, because I feel like I have missed, I mean, I also have never been to lunch with a loved one. I missed like parent-teacher conferences, that's the kind of thing where you find out about those like 2 weeks in advance, and I can never like just be here. So maybe just ensuring that there's a way for it to be replicated, because like I just rescheduled my parent-teacher conference for a time that I can do it, and teachers have always been willing to accommodate that when I can't. So if there's sort of a built-in, you know, we really want to encourage people to, you know, it obviously couldn't get the full experience of being with the whole community, but just to make sure that kids and parents feel like there is a way to come sort of,
Well, maybe
a misunderstanding
ask
to
your lighthouse team to
Yeah.
think about ways that
incorporate
other
working families.
parents that
Yep.
couldn't be included can be included, because there are things we could do.
Yeah,
And
I think that would be fair.
I mean, could you still make it like have a half of a normal regular school day and then have a half a day and like the teachers have the half a day to like go and do whatever they needed to do, like whatever, and then have this in the evening time for parents to make, like from 5 to 7 or something, so that on like, you know, so like, I know contractually, but if you gave the teachers the time in the afternoon or something, and then,
It's complicated.
I don't know, I know
It's
it
a
is
little more
complicated.
complicated than that.
Yeah,
And we.
Complicated, because then you're asking teachers to come at,
You're
they're doing
asking-
their evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're asking teachers to come back, and they do for events.
You could also ask, like, middle schoolers to help set up if you wanna do it later, like, I'm sure there will be students, like, if you could give us hours, I'm sure there will be
Plus, we'll be
lots of
8th graders
students.
scurrying for hours after that.
Yeah. So, like,
I'm not saying
Help set
reconsider,
up.
I just had to whine a little.
It's no fun being a working
no, but I feel like you represent a group of people, like,
Well, I think the three of you really represent a group of people that really can't.
like,
I know, but I'm the only one.
like, well,
What?
you're only what?
I'm the only one whining.
No, you're not.
That's not what I heard.
I didn't hear whining, I heard,
No, it's an equity argument, right? Because the truth is
Yeah.
like a lot of people that are able to be here, you know, I think that's the point, is to make it, how do we make it as inclusive as possible, while respecting the fact that it is work for the teachers, and it should be during their work day, right?
Yeah.
That it's not, we shouldn't be asking them to do it as volunteer time. Acknowledging it as like a time for the kids, where they sort of, it is the focus of the day, it's not like a tack on to, you know. I think it's, at a certain point, you just have to do it, and know that that this is a community that's very willing to work with families, so if there's a, you know, and just maybe broadcasting that, you know, if you can't be there for the event, these are ways you can.
These are ways you can participate.
Yeah, or if there is a parent that says like, I really can only scoot out from my job for an hour, what, you know, working with people to find what that time is, but I think at some point you just have to pick a day. It's kind of like the community build, right? Like, you just have to pick a day.
And it's hard, in the evenings, you don't get all the kids, so it's an equity issue either
Right,
way.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll take a motion, or I will table it till next month.
No, I think we just decide.
Okay.
Yes or no, yeah.
Okay, so we'll take a motion.
I will make a motion
Okay, Hannah will
to
make a motion.
put this on the calendar.
Okay. So Hannah will make a
Leadership
motion
Day and community
for,
barbecue.
to approve the request for a school calendar change of an early dismissal on June 6th. Not January, June 6th.
will there still be a bus to drive kids home?
No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
got it, okay.
Okay, so Hannah moved, is there a second?
Go, Beth.
I know, I'd rather not second.
Okay, I will
I
second.
suppose I could second,
I
but
know, I'm like, you never move or second.
me?
Yeah.
Well, that's because, like,
The chair.
the chair never does. I mean, I could if I have to. Okay, is there any further discussion? No. Okay, all those in favor of approving the school calendar change for early dismissal on June 6th, please say aye. Aye.
Aye, sorry.
All those opposed? Abstentions? Okay, so it's 4-0 with some reluctance.
On a positive note, we are working on this calendar for next year, and we have reported at the SU meeting, we reduced the early release days by 1, but we've now reduced them by 3.
Ooh.
Which is helpful.
Helping.
When's graduation? This year?
We
haven't said it yet, Beth.
Yeah.
You have to wait
Time
until
on
snow days are over.
Snow days.
Oh, really? Said it in like March.
Usually around, February, March. Yep.
Grandparents.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
We touched on a couple of these upcoming events, but the variety show is this Friday, Spaghetti Supper is this Saturday, Winter Concert is next Thursday,
I'm so
and the
excited about
Holiday
Winter
Market is next Saturday. So those are
We're
some
gonna
good,
enjoy it.
good exciting upcoming events. I think Christine, there you
I'm
go.
not double
Yeah.
booked. I don't know why. You need to book again.
Oh, got it. Yep, there you go.
I guess I built that in. All right, I have just a few things to share with you tonight. The next slide is, I wanted to bring you the Hartland Dibbles data. Brought the SU level data to the SU board meeting last Monday, but this is the Hartland specific data. This is a requirement of the new literacy law, Act 139. We have to assess students in K through 3. And not K initially, but they'll get tested.
Does
They'll get
DIBBLES
assessed.
stand for something?
a weird word.
Dyslexia
I think
index
it
of
does.
beginner
Yeah.
early literacy.
Something
Oh,
like
Hannah.
I have no idea.
Way to
Totally
make that
knew
up.
that. I love that.
That was a good one, nice job.
So,
But yeah,
part of the law, requirement of the law is the students that are in that intense support need, the red, will get a letter notifying the parents of where the child is at and some resources that can be used to help support the child's progress in literacy.
Hannah found it already.
Dynamic indicators of basic early literacy skills.
You were close.
There you go.
You're close. So, we've got some work to do.
So just, sorry, so
It's hard
core
to see.
support, negligible risk, core support, minimal risk. So we don't have anyone in the negligible risk in the second grade? Is that?
That is
Or very tiny small, but.
Yeah,
That's
what is
0%.
0%.
I think it is zero.
Zero.
At the top, yep.
And
Yep.
then it's core support, minimal risk, intensive support, average score.
So
Oh, I
wait,
see.
is
And then
it
yellow is
first
strategic
grade,
support,
second
I see.
grade,
It's
third grade?
first,
Okay.
second, third, yep. So roughly, 36 to 40% of our first, second, and third graders need intensive support in literacy.
Where do we fall, where does Hartland fall within the rest of the district?
You fall,
Like, if we were to compare these, like, what does
with Windsor,
Weathersfield look like, what does
I
Windsor
think
look like?
Hartland and Weathersfield are around similar scores, and Windsor's scores, there are more needs
Like-
in Windsor.
More, this is more needs than Windsor?
No,
No,
Windsor has more needs.
Okay.
Yes, Windsor has more needs.
And what's the other one?
Albert Bridge.
Albert Bridge.
They're part of.
Oh, they're part of-
so
got
it's
it.
all, it's
Okay.
all, yeah. But we'll keep coming back to this, it's a new law. We didn't anticipate that we were gonna have to, send letters home, but we got a letter from the state that said you have to send home in the next
And what is the
30
letter?
days of the assessment, and
my gosh.
we're getting
And we're-
assessment information in January from the
Yeah,
state.
and
in
it's
terms
like,
of-
we're deciding that we're using dibbles, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's
that's
not
what
like
we
the
did.
state's even saying
No, in January, they're gonna
Yeah.
give some guidance on the
on
assessments.
what to assess it, yeah.
What,
Yes.
what does the letter say, and what is, like,
It basically says that your child has been assessed for early literacy, and it gives the parent the score, I believe, where their child ranked, or where their child scored. It talks about early interventions, and it gives some, like, links to some resources for parents as well.
Yeah.
In the draft letter, that's what I saw.
okay,
So-
and what are we, like, what is Hartland doing about this
Yeah, what
now that
happens
we
with
get
those
this data?
kids?
I think it depends on who the kiddo is, what specific areas they might show in need of support. That could look like small groups within the classroom with the classroom teacher. It could look like an intervention group with an interventionist. It can, depending on the situation.
But
a
they are
combination
entered,
of
like,
those.
so it's really, everybody is kind of screened if they don't have an
Yes,
IEP or
correct,
504,
yes.
then they're like, ooh, if they're not getting some sort of intervention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's a
Oh,
good
yeah,
thing.
good thing.
Yeah, the implementation at the state
Yeah.
level
Right.
was a bit.
Yeah, it's.
I think one thing I'm just thinking about as we like face down budget season is how this data gets interpreted by voters, and so it'll be interesting just as we need to think about the framing of this, that like, look, this is at the very beginning, this is demonstrating the need that's showing up at the door and what the need we need to meet.
Well, and
right,
it also
in terms of-
demonstrates, I mean, we keep saying we need more interventionists. This is the data that's showing us that we
Right.
need more interventionists. If you don't want to be putting kids possibly on IEPs or 504s, like then, which cost more, like in our legally binding, then this is
Right.
where your interventionists, magic happens. We hope.
No, I didn't do it, but we could do it. We could cross-reference the dibbles and the star and see what it looks like. Yep.
Yeah,
that would be interesting, just to see. Because I know our ELA scores in Heartland were pretty good. Especially as the kids got older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we should kind of do that. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's okay. There was real
I
job stuck
clicked
in.
on it at the same time as you, because I went to the next slide.
I should just say it's
Larry wanted me to let you know that the FY24 Heartland audit is finished. It's live on the website. There were no significant findings. We get audited every year. So it's good to know that we didn't have any findings. We typically don't. There were 2 repeat recommendations for Heartland for the Student Activities Fund. And Larry inserted that finding, not a finding, recommendation, I gotta get it right. So, it was noted that receipts related to student activities are not being processed in the same manner as all other district cash receipts. We recommend that management review and revise its procedure to ensure that all receipts related to student activities under the control of the school district. I think there's another slide. So that was the first recommendation. The second was, again, the Hartland Student Activities Fund. Cash disbursements. While performing the audit for the above-mentioned fiscal year, we noted that not all disbursements were approved for payment prior to disbursements being issued. So that is just guidance for us in how that activity account is managed.
And approved by who? Was that me signing off? Or is that Lindsay signing off?
The way the student activities accounts run right now, there's specific rules around what the money can, I mean, there's money raised. So it can be like money for a class trip goes into the student activities account. Linda manages it. She keeps a ledger. It goes to the auditors. She signs the checks. I think you sign the checks as well. There should be 2 people on those checks. Do you not? No. So we'll look into that. Okay. I can't remember. I thought I used to sign them.
I have not.
Okay. So those were the 2 recommendations. So we'll work on the process for that. To make sure it doesn't turn into a finding.
Yeah, along the same front, our donations to student activities, like when activities do fundraising, is significantly hampered by the fact that there's no electronic way to donate. And
Yeah.
other schools have an electronic way to donate.
So we chatted with the PTO about that,
Yeah.
and so they said they have their own ability, because they're like a nonprofit. And so, I don't know how, but basically, we could use their account, and then essentially they would then pay us out.
Okay.
Cause they have a Venmo, that's
Yeah,
how I
right,
like bought my
Yeah,
wreath.
'cause what was it that we were doing that was?
We were trying to sell
Oh, at
tickets
the,
to the
haunted house,
Halloween
yeah, the haunted house and stuff.
And
Yeah.
so there were families that couldn't go
They
because
had
they
like, we
didn't
have no
money.
cash, yeah.
I'll ask again. We've asked multiple times on
And
this
there
one.
are other schools that have figured this
That
out.
do it? Okay.
And like, we're really, nobody carries cash anymore.
I totally agree with you.
And so we are really losing money.
I'll ask Larry to
Um,
look into it.
I mean, or we really could be making more money.
So it's basically for fundraising?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like if Hartland.
And
could
if
set
there,
up a Venmo
would there be a
account.
problem with using the PTO's account and
No,
having them
I don't think so.
pay?
Okay.
It's just having full faith and trust.
Seeing the headline of the values now.
The PTO.
Heartland PTO money laundering
Florida,
for 8th
where-
grade class.
True.
Never to be
No,
said.
no, that PTO, they're pretty shifty.
I know.
We'll look into that.
Yeah, I mean,
It is convenient to be able to do it.
I don't carry cash.
I haven't touched cash in years.
Yeah.
I had to borrow $4
I barely
off
even
my
carry my
dollar today
credit
to
card.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
purchase
have Apple
eggs
Pay?
for
I
my
can't
neighbor,
shop.
which I then had to walk.
Yes.
I had to walk up
I
and.
went to Walmart yesterday to get diapers and I was like, what? You know, like, I almost had to walk
yeah.
out empty-handed, but I figured I'd go to Walmart and pay. It's all fine.
All right, I will look into that.
Thank
for
you.
next time, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
All
cause
right.
even if it was like, we didn't make a lot of money at the bake sale, cause we're like, if we just had, cause it was by donation. So it was like a little
So
Venmo
if there was a
thing
little
for a couple
Venmo, we
bucks,
would have
like-
made,
You could, I mean, like, you can always, and I know this sounds crazy, but like, I've seen it where like, when we go to wrestling tournaments or whatever, like, one person is
Well,
like.
that's what
the-
I did, like, for getting
the-
flowers for everybody, and
the
I just said,
Venmo
give me
account.
$5, and I just then put
Yeah.
that to her, so, but again, it's having that, full, like, it is a little
well, then we're
bookkeeping
not,
wise shady, probably.
yeah,
Well, I mean, like,
it's shady bookkeeping wise.
it's shady unless, you know, like Beth, if you're the point person and you're like, here's my Venmo, and then like,
You give it all.
you're trusted.
It's a clunky workaround.
It's,
It's
yeah,
better.
I mean, like, then all it is like you being like, you know, you get all that money and you take the cash and then you give it to
Yeah,
whoever it's supposed to, I
Yeah.
mean.
Well, I think
I'll ask.
a staff member
I mean, I
asked
would
if we
rather,
could do
as
that,
the
and the
person
answer
that
was
has
no.
then
Oh.
held on to the pile of cash for like 3 days, cause it was the weekend, that to bring it to the school.
Yeah,
I was also like, oh, I don't like having,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I
it
know,
was
I
also
hate
just
having
like a little,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
weird.
I would like to have this
Yeah.
cash hanging around.
Lindsay shared a little bit, I'll share a little bit more maybe. So we've got our BAC meetings scheduled. Heartland is the 9th. the goal of that group is gonna be to bring recommendations to the board, so the board has the final decision making on these things. Budget committee. So essentially, they're gonna go over the budget with Larry and Lindsay. It's almost like a run-through before board meeting, to be honest with you, yeah. So they can ask questions and they can offer recommendations.
Who are the board reps on that?
Alexa
Or there
Garcia.
are board reps
There
on
are no
that?
board
I don't think they're
reps.
all
Alexa.
reps.
I think it's Alexa
Tracy.
Garcia's, huh?
We get plenty.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
get your time.
We'll get our time,
Budget,
okay,
yeah.
cool, okay.
So we did receive the tax letter yesterday, and the projected average property tax bill increase was 5.9%, which is a welcome number, I think, based on last year. I mean, it's not great, but it's not double digit, so I thought that was
But
positive.
I don't understand, can we talk about this? So, last year, like, we, proposed a budget of, a little less than 10% increase. And then, like, our taxes went up like 28%.
Mhm.
What is this 5.9%?
That's so the state collects information from all of the schools on about what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then they take that all and they aggregate it and they say, this is about what's gonna happen.
It's
So-
not, it's not gonna be true for every single budget.
Right.
And it's not proportional to the tax increase.
Right.
It has
That's
nothing
the
to
point
do
you're
with the tax
making.
increase.
Once
So-
again, we're gonna be
so-
in the same situation.
So even though this says 5.9, we could still
Yeah,
see a
another 20%.
22% increase. That wouldn't be our fault again
Correct.
because of some weird state calculation.
Correct.
Could, although they've done something with the CLA, like they've balanced it, the pre-CLA number, which
Yeah.
is supposed to help, and we'll
It's
see.
supposed to make it look better, it's not supposed to change the
Like,
increase.
so, I guess the question is, like, if we see, knowing that, like, our school budget is gonna be, whatever, 9%, 8%, whatever the number is.
It is 6.93 right now.
6.93, perfect. Like, if we see that, and then we have to go to the community and be like, but by the way, your taxes are gonna increase 22%, even though Heartland's budget is 6.93%, like, what do we do?
Well, we're gonna get there. It's too early to tell right
We
now.
don't know
We don't
those
have the
numbers.
worksheet that Larry needs to fill in the numbers to see where you're gonna be at.
And the way that the CLA calculation was done last year is that it was included in the percent increase. So people were seeing the nearly 30% increase and assuming that that was the school budget.
Yes.
And what they're doing now, where like the majority of that increase was the CLA, what they're doing now is taking that increase out of the calculation so that when you look at the numbers, you'll see that the school budget is increasing your taxes by this amount based on a crazy formula, and the CLA won't be part of that.
And so do we get to, but when people vote for the school budget,
It won't show that 30, so last year, I forget what our increase was.
We ended up being
it was like
24.
20, yeah, it was
Right,
something.
but our budget increase was only like,
It was like
Yeah.
9.1 or something.
yeah, so, right, so you wouldn't see that full increase, you would just see the budget increase. Well, you would see the tax increase.
Yeah,
So last year, I forget, our tax increase was not gonna be that dramatic
no,
until the CLA
until the
got-
CLA kicked in.
Correct.
Right, in fact, our tax
Well, that's
rate
because
was lower.
initially they were supposed to cap it at 5% if we stayed under 10, and then
And
it
that's
was
what we did,
after
remember all
everything
the
did
hacking?
that it,
Yeah, right.
so it, yeah.
But our tax rate last year was lower than it had been
Yes.
in like not the previous couple of years, but like
Prior to that.
3 or 4 years ago.
So we should know more in January. We will
Yeah.
know more.
It's
in
just
January.
like,
Yeah.
I'm already nervous about this,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
because
it's
like,
gonna be terrible
who
again.
can,
It's gonna be terrible again.
like,
I'm
who
just-
who can afford this?
And I'm already getting phone calls.
Yeah.
And that's something that I guess I kind of need your guys' help. Like, I can't handle personal phone calls.
At,
all
at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night?
Well, so that's also,
Yeah.
so that then, I do think
So I
that has
think
to
we
become a
need
little
to-
bit of boundary setting, like,
Yeah.
that's not, there's an appropriate way to
Right.
communicate with you, and it's not your personal cell phone number.
Right, or my house. But
Or
you-
your house.
But that's listed. I mean, so that like previously has been the
Our phone
role
numbers
of
are
the
listed?
board. Yeah. And so the previously has been,
Our home numbers are listed on the website? I don't even have a home
because we're
number.
elected officials.
I think your cell numbers are,
Yeah.
I think they are.
Yeah.
Check.
Hold on,
Yeah.
I'll look.
So,
Oh.
so
Could
I
you post
would,
office hours kind of thing?
I
Could
think
you-
that
But I don't
Could
in
you
order to
raise the
have
quotation?
discussions about the budget, we need to
to come to
encourage
the
people
budget.
to come to the budget meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can't take
You're
time
not
out of
gonna-
my
you can't do-
workday to explain the intimate
No.
details of the budget, and that's what people expect.
Nor do you want to.
I can't.
I think that the new budget book's gonna help with that. I think
Yeah.
it's a little easier for people to read and understand as well.
Yeah.
Yep, all of our phone numbers are right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look on the school website. Yours is there too, 413.
That's so terrible.
They have your personal.
Actually, my real issue with that is like that's Googleable. I like really don't want patients to have my cell phone number because it gets like deeply problematic when patients can reach out to you directly.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't know that my cell phone was on the website.
Well, I will find out if it has to be, and if not, we can put your school email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
so
mean, I
the-
don't
all our
think our
emails
phone
are up
numbers
there.
should be up there.
Are the emails on there too, Heather?
Okay, hold on. If I click on my name,
Cause
it brings me, when you click on your name, it brings you to like sending an email.
That's
to
fine.
somebody. So, which is fine.
And it's
Because I can-
it's our school
And it's our
board,
school
remember?
one,
Yeah.
it's not, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I think honestly, like, if all communication should be discoverable, it should be contained within
Nice, yeah.
proper channels, which is like my attitude about patients contacting me is
Yeah.
like, in order to keep your medical information
Yeah.
safe and protected, we need to use the proper channels.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
All these things we've discovered.
We've discovered a lot tonight.
So
One more,
you're saying
one more.
I can
There we
text
go.
you medical questions?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not my doctor, but can I text you medical questions?
Can I have some Doxy? I think I got a tick bite.
Just pulling up a timeline for you to start thinking. Town meeting day is going to be March 4th. So we're hoping to get the budget information meetings on the books so that they're well advertised and
Oh.
out there.
I gotta get,
They're typically the prior week to voting.
That's not vacation, right?
That is not vacation. That's usually, Hartland is usually the Tuesday after the break. That's the Tuesday after the break. I don't know if you want to talk about that tonight and set that date. I think it would be a good idea.
Because our reports are due on the 18th.
Your reports are due, yep. The warnings have to go up by the 27th, and Lori will take care of that.
was it February 25th?
So we're proposing a budget information meeting on the 25th.
Yes, David Hall, it's usually at 7 o'clock.
And somebody makes cookies. Thank you, Beth.
And we should be really, I think key things this year too is making sure we have the AV stuff set up, cause I think
Yeah.
we're gonna be a lot
Yes.
of
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
and making sure we're,
I think we need to make sure the moderate, like, we moderate a little bit. I don't wanna say better, because he does such a great job, but like, we need, like, I noticed in all of these meetings, we had everyone telling their stories about when they moved here and what the tax rate used to look like and Hartland and all this stuff, and I'm just like, this is great, but like, this has nothing to do with, like, I don't know how we get people to stick to like asking questions that are answerable, and also like, and like having it be so that like we hear from as many people that is there, but also we don't like need to hear everyone's, personal story.
I think one thing sort of related to that is I think we should think about in the presentation, making the presentation really concise. I hate to say that because I obviously love the culture and kind of, but I think people are gonna show up to this meeting wanting
wanna know about the money.
data. Yeah,
And
and
I
we
think
should try to
maybe
be,
that last, cause I can remember Christine and I started with had a lot more to
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
the first time and pared it down
by
each
the end,
time.
yeah. I mean,
So
I think
probably
it like
just
a slide on like, and
Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
if you are interested in the school, come,
Yeah.
but let's get down
Yeah.
to, because, people's attention spans are short,
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
reality, and we need people to digest this
Yeah.
data and information.
And the budget
as well.
book should help, because
should
that is
help.
a lot more
Should help.
friendly
It
than.
should help.
Is there a way that we can like start getting information out
That's the problem.
to the town, like, about all the great things that are happening at Hartland?
I don't
Like,
think they care. I
I-
hate to say
I
that, but I
know,
don't
but,
think
like,
they care.
at least, like, when we know that, like, we're serving 500 meals to lunch with loved ones and like.
They're gonna say, cut that. I don't think they care. I hate to say that and sound so negative, but I think the things people unfortunately are gonna push on us about are test scores, which is horrifying and depressing, but that's gonna be the truth, and cost. Those were if you distilled down the things that people were pushing on, that was it.
What do you mean cost?
How much what's the budget cost?
Oh, there you go.
And what's the deliverable?
Yeah.
Show us the test scores, unfortunately, is the.
But that's the way that.
Yes.
It would be great to be in a climate where we could be spending time on all the things that we value about our children's education, but we're not in that climate.
Yeah. But I wonder if maybe because the state is trying to separate like what the CLA is actually costing you as opposed to like, here's what the school is costing you, that it's not the school problem anymore. Like stop blaming the schools for your 28%.
Yeah, but they're only gonna care what the bottom line is. And the
But-
heads up that I got is that apparently some of the major employers in the region are presenting a 200% increase in health insurance. So people are about to get slammed financially.
Well, we're all gonna get slammed. I mean, we're gonna have to move out to Mexico. I don't know. Maybe we should just secede from the union and go join Canada. That'd be the worst idea. Anyways, we digress.
All right, on that note, Heather, you are up for
I'm
your board
up.
seat, and Hannah, you're up for your board seat.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
you need 30 signatures by January 27th at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Okay.
Where do you pick up? Oh, they're online, right?
Yeah, you're just
I
putting
think they're online, Hartland, or they're at the.
Those are 30 signatures,
town
pretty
office.
easy.
Baker Campbell has.
I'm allowed to sign my own, right?
Yeah.
Why are some? I have a question. Why are some 2-year and some are 3-year?
It's always been that way, I don't know the answer to that. Yeah.
So
And I've
strange.
just always switched both.
Hannah,
I
which
used
one?
to alternate
Which one
back and
do you
forth.
want? Do you want a 2 or a 3?
I don't.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Are you going up?
You still can decide.
I know.
I
free
will.
will.
They may vote us out.
Who are the,
You know.
yeah, we may. I mean, we could get voted out. I don't know by who's gonna get in there, but
Really?
good luck.
You don't?
Well, I mean, I do. I really want to say something right now, but I'm gonna hold it together till
Yeah.
Okay, so, that is the end of
My
my
steer's
report.
gonna move on.
That
Okay.
is the end. Stop share.
We digress again.
Budget book in town, do you want this slide?
Oh, I do, well, that's for discussion item.
Okay.
Nikki's ready for that.
Okay,
What?
I'll leave this up there.
That's the end of the report, but this is, an item for discussion,
A budget book.
our
Oh.
budget book. Yeah.
Decision needs to be made regarding the budget book and town report. We can send a PDF of all the pages to the town clerk, so we can add the pages to the town report.
Ruler, I can print the budget book.
What's the cost of printing?
It's gonna cost money.
Negligible
No.
or is it
Give
a
it to
lot?
the town.
No, I mean, are you talking like the whole budget book?
Yeah, I don't think it
Like
needs to be
this,
in color.
this. No, it does.
What?
It does,
Color
because
would
then,
probably be helpful.
things like this,
Graphs and stuff.
Then we have to
The
print our
graphs.
own.
like,
It's
unless
gonna-
you
it's
can,
gonna be-
unless you can change the graphs to
Hundreds
patterns.
of dollars, I mean, it's not
Yeah,
gonna be
unless you can
thousands
change
of
the
dollars.
graphs to patterns, it's not, you need color.
Yeah.
Oh, so we do need.
Because I printed this out and then was like, damn it.
I think it
Yeah.
would be a good idea to print it in
Okay,
color.
okay,
I
okay,
do,
okay.
when it's.
Is anyone gonna
final.
care?
I mean, I think people do look
This
at
is what
it.
people are gonna
Yeah.
care about.
Yeah.
This is the money stuff. It's not like
And-
color pictures, it's like,
Yeah.
these are the
Yeah,
graphs.
yeah.
I mean,
These
so
are
like,
like the-
our second graders' drawings and
Yeah,
No.
like they don't wanna know that our kids go skiing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and this
That's
is good in the sense of like it has all the,
Ah.
it has the details of the supervisory union budget,
Yes, yep.
so I think that's, key.
Okay,
Because
print it in
that'll be
color,
like,
Christine.
Big
In
part
color
of
would be
that.
helpful.
I will let Larry know.
Yeah, or
I
let's
mean-
see how much it's gonna cost.
You want me to get an estimate?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And wait, this is the budget book that we're gonna put into the town.
On
It would
town
be,
meeting day on
it
March
would be
4th.
its own book with the town report. So normally they're in one, this would be, its own packet.
When does it come out?
Soon, the reports are due by,
Our reports are due by mid-December.
yeah.
Okay.
So they're
But I
printed in
can't
January.
write my report.
No, no.
Are they gonna be mailed? Or do they, how do you
No,
who do you
they're
get
not
them?
at the
They're
town
picked
hall,
up
in
at
the
the town
library and stuff.
or the school, they're put around town,
Okay,
typically.
But you usually get posted, I think is sent home to homes, is it, like saying like a few
did-
details?
we did
about-
last
We did or
year.
did the town, I remember the town.
We
I
did.
thought-
Oh, no, the town does
Yeah.
send,
Like something like get your
Yeah.
report at the town hall,
Oh,
yeah.
it's tiered kind of thing.
Yeah. How many does the town report? Or how many does the town print?
Well, last time we had to print them ourselves, remember, for the 3 rounds.
The 17th
I
round.
can't remember. I think I printed like, I don't remember, hundreds, because usually the town hall's pretty packed for town meeting day.
Yeah.
I can look back and find out how many we printed. We'll get an estimate.
It will be more importantly to get the information out that
Yeah.
the school budget information will not be in the town report. So
Correct.
people know to get both.
Yep.
Cause I can see those being, people
Where-
being like,
yeah.
where is it? Things are getting sneaky.
There, yeah, that's right, they're
Yeah.
concealing it from us.
Okay.
We all got a little traumatized last year.
A little traumatized, are you
I can't
kidding
even
me?
believe that it's December and my phone's already ringing.
Well, people
Yeah,
People are scared. I mean, how can you go from like having a 26% increase from last year and now all of a sudden being like, if my taxes go up another 22%, like I could barely afford the 28%. Like, how am I going to afford the 22 or whatever number I just made up? Like, that's a problem. And like, again, it's gonna be pinned on the school as a school problem, but it's not the school problem, just like last year wasn't the school problem either. Boy.
Okay,
That's the end of
Yeah, that's
what we have.
Yep.
okay.
That was short.
For sure, yep.
Is our next meeting June?
It's January, yeah.
Do you believe that we will be able to, I'm wondering, like, should we, people who are calling you and when we, like, should we ask them, be like, our next board meeting is January 7th, like, please come and
Yes.
join us?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Like, that
yes.
should be,
Yes, to consolidate, I mean, we need to think about how we can, this can be sustainable for us, right? The
Right.
goals are to educate the public and make decisions with voters.
Yeah.
But that can't be done on a one-to-one basis over the phone at nighttime. It
Yeah.
won't, that's
Yeah.
not feasible or functional, and so I think that we just, as we enter the season, have to be prepared to draw that boundary, that, you know, we
There's
are
a
happy to receive emails, to have, you know, ongoing discussions about this. We encourage you to come to the school board meetings, which are the designated time for us to discuss these
How-
issues.
is there a way, I mean, like, can we get out the word to like, for people to come to the January board meeting?
I
Just
mean,
to-
they're warned, right?
I mean, they're all warned, but like, again, like, I don't think people,
Yeah, put it in your newsletter. You put it in your newsletter?
Not necessarily, but I can. That would be
Yeah,
pretty
I
simple.
think-
Posted on the Linda posted on the listserv.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, and maybe we should put something in there, just
Like
like,
inviting,
hey,
come learn about,
Season's
come learn,
starting.
budget,
Process.
budget season is starting, please come on, you know, blah, blah, so that we can all,
there's a period of time, yeah. And maybe even sending something out that like how we structure the meetings, that there is a time period for public participation. Cause we don't want it to turn into like discussion, you know,
Yeah.
that,
Right.
I think that that's great.
Christine, a question
So-
I had for you in thinking about January 7th. Will we have, I know you put the date on your slide, and we need to have something warned closer to the end of January. Will we have all the information we need ready by January 7th? Or is it worth having a conversation of pushing the meeting back a couple weeks instead of having potentially 2 meetings in January?
I think we're gonna have to have 2 meetings.
Maybe we will, I was just, cause I just don't know if January
should.
7th is gonna be just a
Too
couple
soon.
weeks too
Where-
soon, and whether it makes the most sense
Oh,
to
if we'll
try to
have-
push it.
If we won't have the
Information
Yeah.
from
have the
state.
meeting on the 21st instead.
I don't know, I was just, I'm
The
not sure if
21st is
that
too
makes sense or
late.
not.
The 21st is
Yeah.
too late.
Is the 14th?
Let me
14th
just,
is really bad for me.
Let me just see if Larry thinks they'll
What
have
do
the
you do, I mean,
information by
seriously,
the
what do you do?
7th.
What do you have, a hard transfer?
I know, like, what are you doing on that day?
Adam's gonna be out of town that week.
Well, get your parents. Come on, Anna, be crafty. I mean, like, they're here all
I know, but the
The phone
baby's
call I
not.
got today said that there was a 50% increase in administrative costs.
For what? I'm sorry.
Of
In
the
the
school?
budget?
Yeah.
Well, then how would that reflect a 6.83
I'm like, what if
increase?
there are 50% administrative?
Are you looking at
Who
the
makes
Hartland
this
budget
stuff
or
up?
the SU budget?
I think there was an SU budget, maybe that's what they're looking at.
They're just making up stuff.
No, well,
So-
I mean, I don't think that, there was a, as Larry put in the notes, I think, in the budget book of the SU budget, there was,
The line change.
a line change, where one was coded, it was switched to a different line.
That's what I explained it
And,
as.
there's actually a reduction in administration at the SU level,
Yeah,
so.
but it looks,
Yeah.
yeah, so they must have been looking at the SU. budget.
Speaking of the SU budget, so the SU board is voting on the SU budget next Tuesday,
And
right, the 9th, is that Tuesday or Monday, I forget.
it's Monday,
So,
it's Monday.
anyone who's not here, that, like, look at it,
Yeah.
if there's questions around that, let us know. 'Cause that's a big chunk of our budget.
Mhm.
I mean, overall, I mean, they're down at least one position, right?
We're down in administrative
Administrative
position,
position.
yep. The admin and ops budget is up under 3%, and the special ed budget, I believe, is around 6.
Yeah, but it was adding no new staff.
No, well, not,
Not, well,
In
maybe
special ed.
if, because they still have empty spots that aren't filled.
in special ed, right,
Yeah,
yes.
so we may have only because of.
I mean, it reflects the current
Yes,
staffing
exactly, the current
Yeah.
staffing
in
needs.
special ed, yeah.
Mhm.
He said he should have all the information by the 7th, barring some change on the law or if he doesn't get
AKA
the
there will be
tax
a change.
worksheet or something crazy, so he anticipates, but
Okay.
I guess
I mean, we
if,
should just anticipate there are going to be changes through the legislative session.
I mean, they
Maybe.
changed it like
Maybe.
a week before we were supposed to present, so.
I
like,
know, there are some good changes that they're talking about, particularly with respect to tuition students.
Yeah, like capping it, right?
Cutting down on some of the, yeah. I
They're
mean,
capping it, they're saying like you can't charge more than 18, I don't know what the number is, but like,
Yeah.
the school can't, the highest you can charge is this. Does that go
in Vermont,
in Vermont, so we would still have to pay for
So
those
they
kids
can't control,
Hanover?
I think they could control New Hampshire, I mean, that wouldn't,
But would parents have to pay above and beyond? Did the state say, we're only gonna pay that,
They
I'm
might.
sorry?
that's how it works in my town.
Yeah.
In Cornish, huh?
For which schools?
You pay the different, the district will pay I think it's the highest cost of 3 choice schools, I think it's Windsor, Lebanon, and Claremont.
Okay,
So if you wanna go to Hanover and it's more than that.
got it,
the
okay,
parents pay
I see,
the
okay,
cost.
okay. And that is something, just out of curiosity, that's something that's been designed by the school board? Okay.
but that's New Hampshire, so
Okay.
we have different
No, I
laws.
just,
Do we have
Okay,
different
so we
laws here in
couldn't do
Vermont?
that?
Could we do that?
They're
There-
talking about it,
Yeah.
I mean,
believe.
but it
well,
would be at the state, I
but
guess
we
that's
as
what
a
I'm
school
asking,
board.
would it be at the state level? Like, I just think that, I do think the high school stuff is gonna come up again, cause it seems like low hanging fruit for people. Even though I don't think it has a big impact on the budget.
yeah,
And I just wonder if
Doesn't.
there's something that we should be considering to protect school choice, because, you know, a way to protect school choice. I know it's not appealing to any of us, cause it
I
doesn't
think
feel
there
very
was
equitable,
a
but.
way, like, I thought that you couldn't do that before, and so the legislature would have to change it. I didn't think that you could pay the difference, I thought any public school district just had to pay the tuition to a public
I
school.
think that's how it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
At the
think
state
I
level.
think people are talking about different,
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but that's helpful to know that we can't just do that.
but I will double check on that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
as a board can't make that decision.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But one of the other things that I think is good is that they're talking about getting rid of the back charges, like the excessive
Like the
back
exits,
charges
like
for,
special ed charges.
for special ed, yeah. So that's good too. I mean, I don't know how that impacts the schools, as long as it's not, I would imagine the schools could charge what they spent, but not just flat fees for excessive amounts.
I'm hoping that part of the conversation is about like the actual ed fund and what can be taken out of the ed fund.
Yes,
Because I think that a lot of money gets taken out of the ed fund, like, but it's not, like, that's not what the ed fund should be supporting. And so I'm hoping people are going to recognize that, like, I know that like Killington paid for their water supply out of the ed fund. Why would they do that? That,
Tip district.
It's
Yeah.
just,
That's what it's
really, that's really
What's a
unfair.
TIF district?
I had to look it up myself, when I heard about it.
Yeah, they need to,
We need some water,
Yeah.
my kids complain about the water.
yeah, the
But
water
I-
there is rough.
Classic says, it tastes like
Tax
dirty
increment
carrots.
financing, it's called.
Tax what?
Tax increment financing, and there are districts,
What does that
Yeah,
even
that's
mean?
what that says about it. Dirty carrots.
Like,
Yeah, that's what we said.
it's, established by a municipality around an area that requires public infrastructure, like water.
so you can just use it, but how does that come out
But
of
how
the-
do you get to use the
How do you get
ed
it- how
fund
do you
for
get to
it?
use
Why
it
it
out of the
comes
ed
out of
fund?
the ed fund, I have no idea.
So like, I don't, like, I have stressed to like, the legislators I know that like, the ed fund is not the slush fund, like, can we just use what the ed fund is for? Even though I don't really actually even like how the ed fund is operated, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Right, but then you have to define what the ed fund is for.
Yeah.
Is the ed fund for mental health? Is it for feeding kids? Is
I
it
mean,
for-
like, that's
I
the
mean-
thing, like, shouldn't the Department of Health be the one covering the mental health?
I know.
And the Department of Agriculture be feeding our kids, like, why does all of this coming out of, like, I thought the ed fund was to educate children, because if it was,
But that's
then-
not what we do in school.
but that, no, that is now
That's
what we do.
should be doing.
Like, but we
But
have,
we are doing all the other things
Alright,
too.
so do we wanna plan
Just keep it
tentatively
on the
to meet
7th?
at January 7th, and we can change it as needed?
Mhm.
Okay, based on how things unfold,
Yeah.
alright.
Yeah,
They list all the districts on the website, if you're
Oh.
interested.
but how are
TIF
you
districts.
a TIF district? So they can use whatever they can use the ed fund for whatever they want, as long as
No,
it states public,
I think
that it's a public thing?
there's gotta be a process for it.
Like, what is this? And I don't understand. Like, sorry.
No, I don't think a lot of people knew about it until recently.
Came to light. Alright, so we'll meet January 7th?
Yep.
Okay, unless we need to change it.
do we wanna, Christine, do you want us to pick another date now, or
I think
do you
that,
wanna wait?
I think I wanna talk to Larry about his schedule because it'd be important for him to be here.
Yeah.
So what I can do is check with him on a second potential date and send out a doodle poll.
Yeah.
But I think, but you said there's a date that's too late. Like, we can't do it after this date, which was like January 21st.
Yeah.
So,
Like, I remember last year things were due on like the 19th or something. That was like the drop dead
and when we
deadline
say,
for
when we
printing.
say things
For
that are
printing.
due, we're saying
For
like,
printing.
we're
For
gonna
printing.
take our budget and like,
We have to print ballots.
yes, okay,
So it's gotta be printed. It's
Yeah.
gotta go to the printer in time so that it is here
Got
for the meetings.
okay. So
So-
Lindsay, on the 7th, you're presenting a budget to us.
Yes.
And we are going to like discuss it,
Mm-hmm.
decide yay or nay. Okay, and then the potential meeting, the second one would be for,
You might not need it.
okay,
You might need it, you might not.
okay. I
Like,
just
if
wanted
there's
to
still
be-
questions, if
Yeah,
we send
yeah.
Larry back with a whole
Right.
million adjustments to make or
Yeah.
something.
Okay,
But we should come planned with adjustments. Like,
Yeah. Some thoughts on
Yeah.
what to do if
like
things need to be
budget A,
reduced.
budget B, budget C.
Yep.
And we're gonna make sure that like the public knows that like there is going to be a budget presented
Yep.
on that day, so that people can do, like, be here to at least see the process.
Yeah.
Hear the discussion, see the process, yep.
Will we know what the CLA is going to do by then as well, sort of?
I think they changed it, right? I mean, didn't they level it?
I don't know.
I thought so.
Oh, so they made it so everybody's was.
I thought that they were going to do it, the CLA adjustment so there was always the pre,
So people
Tax?
were gonna vote on the pre-adjustment and then have no idea what their taxes were gonna be?
no, I think it's built into the formula. I think it's built in. But,
I don't want any surprises. I
Yeah.
can't do
But we don't have the tax worksheet yet.
we don't have the tax worksheet yet.
So we
Will
can't
that
do
be,
anything.
will that be ready on the 7th, so we can say like, here's the school budget,
I think
how
it's
this is gonna
supposed to come
increase.
next week.
And
That's Larry
here's
and
what
I
the
were talking
CLA
about.
is gonna do, like, these are separate.
Yeah.
Do you get to vote on the CLA?
No.
Like, cause I would vote that down.
No,
Okay,
you know,
we just have to accept it, cause you live here and pay taxes.
yes.
Alright, so the next agenda is just budget.
It's budget, yep,
Yeah,
yes, just
yeah, I guess
budget.
I have to.
And a great student report.
And a student report?
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear about your student report,
Okay, so the agenda.
especially for your board meeting.
is budget, and then you'll have the student report as part of the,
As part of the administrative report, yeah.
mhm. And then, and that's it.
So I'll put, what do you want? You want budget under items
Yeah.
for discussion?
Okay, it was like,
No.
Items for discussion, action, budget,
Budget.
okay, and I'll put.
And then anything else that comes
Budget
up.
adoption.
I think, can I just propose that we do make a time for public participation after the presentation of the budget?
Oh,
We do
yeah.
it twice in the meeting,
Yeah.
right at the beginning
Yeah.
and at the end.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because I think that way people
On the
will know
agenda?
that they, like, right now the board is gonna listen and discuss,
Mhm.
like, take notes, there will be time for you to
Mhm.
give us your feedback
Can-
before we vote.
You want that on the agenda?
I think
I
so,
think
yeah,
so.
so that people understand that's how,
Okay.
when we
Yeah.
are letting them talk.
Can I ask a, I don't know, like a procedural question? If like in the middle of, like we hear like all the public's thoughts, and then we talk about all this stuff, are we allowed, like, when can an executive session happen? So like if we need to talk about something that came up in all of this.
Always on here.
Yes,
Yeah.
but like, could you do like executive session and then come out of it and then have the public participation? Like, I don't know how that works. Like, I'm just foreseeing if like, we have some like really, really disgruntled, crazy people who are like, take out the blah, blah, blah teachers because doing this, like, I feel like,
I don't actually think that we're allowed to like discuss
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was gonna say, like,
No,
I
I
don't
mean,
know
I
what
think
the.
the only reason we can is because if we were talking about specific individuals that we would needing to cut,
Yeah,
Mhm.
You would just be talking about positions.
Yeah,
we can only
talk
talk
about
But I
about
don't think we
positions.
can do an executive session.
Yeah,
to
you
talk
Okay.
but
about,
the fact that like some
public-
positions are only one person, like you can't go into, like that just seems,
You can't go into
Yeah.
executive session on that.
so what
it just seems like
could,
you're-
like,
You want a debriefing time.
yeah, like, what if we need,
I don't
like,
think we get
I
it.
know, like, I was gonna
That's
say,
after
like,
the
if
fact.
we have like
But I
very
think we
little
can
like
have
this.
the fact with more than three of us.
Yeah.
Compare it. Yeah, but unfortunately that's kind of how, like,
Yeah.
we have to, it has to be
It's all public.
open.
I just didn't know if there was like a moment where it could be like, can we just breathe for a few minutes and like collect
You
our
can
thoughts?
just-
Can we just talk about you people?
I know,
there.
we don't, we'll be right back. We just need to unpack what's going on right now, before we come back.
We're not allowed to do that.
You can take a 5-minute recess though and take a break.
You
And we
can?
don't talk to each other
Yeah,
and we can take a break and then cool off.
yeah.
Of course.
Okay,
Exactly.
that might be
We
a-
can't go
No.
in the hall and go baby,
No.
like you just
Yeah.
have to like
Yeah.
Yeah.
literally take 5 minutes and take a break.
Okay, we got a group text going, got it.
Yeah.
No,
No.
because they will
Joking.
Yeah.
wanna see those.
Um,
All right,
And they can.
January 7th.
Yes,
So we'll talk about the budget and then we'll have a second public participation period.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes, I'll get that.
What
on.
else
Quite
do we need to
possibly you
do?
could vote to
You
approve
could,
the budget, or
I'll
we,
put
if
budget
someone makes a
adoption
motion,
if-
and if they
in
don't,
case.
then we don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
All right,
One thing that I really, announcement that I don't know if you guys all realize, but Angie Ledoux had put in her resignation, so
Oh,
make
right.
sure that
Yeah.
you guys.
Her retirement.
retirement.
Retirement, sorry.
Yeah,
Retirement, but she's, same, yeah,
Yeah.
but. Yeah, that's all.
What,
After
what's our
30
exact
years.
position? Director?
Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment.
Okay.
yeah.
She kept getting those things ahead.
She's given 30 years
I know, yeah,
to
it's
assess
amazing.
you.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
pretty.
One of our longest, at our
Yeah.
school, one of our longest custodians is retiring. I'm so happy for him, but I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like, how long you been here? He's like, more than 30, less than 40. It's like, okay. That is it.
That's his 40.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay,
That was an
second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Uh,
Aye.